This afternoon on the marketplace, fate of over 30,000 mobile money transaction agents hangs in the balance as Chamber of Telecommunication blocks accounts of these agents without Ghana card or tax identification number. We are live with the agents and the Telecommunications Chamber. Mixed reactions greet the presence of Central Oil Refinery in Ghana's energy sector following its commissioning. We shall be exploring its impact on the cost of petroleum products as the country moves to attain energy security. We've got the very latest on that for you. Plus, only 15% of farms in Ghana are commercialized as food security risks persist. We have details of these and many others lined up for you. Please stay. Thanks so much for your company. I am Pious, Kojo, Backah. I look now at our stories, and only 15% of farms in Ghana are commercialized. That's according to C Energy Global Holdings. Its report on creating agriculture financing schemes for sustainable agriculture and food security also revealed that only 4% of total bank lending in Ghana went into agriculture in the last 5 years. Here's more.
The report said low mechanization, poor farm record keeping, poor rural transportation infrastructure, post-harvest losses, among others, are the core challenges affecting the agriculture sector performance and hindering finance for the sector. Typically, agriculture portfolios are thin for all financial groups. Considering the existing funding gaps, the report said more interventions are expected from funds and financial institutions, especially the Agriculture Development Bank and Ghana Exim Bank, whose core mandates include providing funding to actors in the agriculture value chain. In the wake of climate change, the report also warned of the rising food security risk in the country. Ghana is one of the top 10 countries impacted severely by climate change despite contributing the least to global warming. The country saw an unprecedented rise in food prices from 2022, evidenced by the National Food Price Index, which increased by 23.8% in 2022.
Let's now touch on our story we are following up for you, and the fate of over 30,000 mobile money transaction agents hangs in the balance as their accounts are set to be blocked by the mobile telecommunication firms. Now, this is because they haven't registered their business with Ghana card or tax identification number. The Chamber of Telecommunications issued a warning this week advising all unregistered mobile money agents to register with their Ghana card or TIN, or else risk being blocked today, February 1st. Checks by Joy Business revealed that the blocking had begun and affected agents. Basically, they've started feeling the brunt of the telecom firm's directive. Let's get a sense of how widespread this move has become. Joining us via Zoom to do that is Joshua Edmondson. He is the National Deputy Public Relations Officer of Mobile Money Agents Association of Ghana. Thanks so much, Edmondson, for your time here on the marketplace. First off, I want you to paint a picture for us of how widespread the blocking has had on your members.
Thank you very much, and thanks for your viewers and listeners, and thanks for the opportunity given us. Sincerely, as you already indicated, this exercise is a nationwide exercise, and as early as 7 a.m. today, we started having calls from our members all across the breadth and length of the country, complaining of their SIMs being blocked. And sincerely, as you can see, I am even at one of the MTN's office in Tema myself to, personally experience exactly what is going on. So indeed, the exercise has started, and it is very, very difficult. It's a very challenging one, and something that we don't wish for, because a lot of agents have their money still blocked on their SIMs, and it's been very, very difficult. It's been very, very, very difficult. Very difficult.
And yesterday, when I spoke to your president, he did mention that about 60%, representing almost 30,000 of your members, have been affected. Is that really the situation on the ground as we speak?
Sincerely, well, I would say that President was even a little bit magnanimous with respect to the figures because currently, if you look at what is going on, it's far more than that. Okay, it's far more than that because of some underlying factors that, the electronic money issuers are already aware of it. They're already aware of the prevailing challenges. The issue is that you have some of the agents who are using accounts that are all not in their names. You have some that are having genuine problems with their Ghana card issuance. You have some that are also facing challenges with respect to, the registration process. Because, and until these issues are met, sincerely, I mean, the exercise cannot be complete. Because we shouldn't forget that whatever it is, these agents are running businesses, okay, and they are creating employment. Yes, there are challenges, which we all agree that they must be resolved because this exercise is an exercise that we all agree. Because the truth of the matter is, if executed completely and well done, what it means is that it will help manage the fraud issues in the system. It will also help the agents not to be subjected to the electronic tax, which is the e-levy. Because in recent times, we realized that GRA have started subjecting activities to electronic levy tax, which is not supposed to be so. So these are exercises that we've been promised by GRA and the EMIs that after completion, perfect completion, all these things will be curtailed. So it's an exercise we are in full support of. However, we feel that the timing of the blocking is too soon, and it's something that should not be encouraged. Well, at least they should look around somewhere at the ending of the first quarter of the year. By then, we believe that all those who are using SIMs that are not in their names would have been helped and migrated onto having their own agent SIMs. Those who are also using other people's business would have been helped to be able, by the EMIs, to be able to get their own SIMs to work with. And those who are having challenges in their Ghana card would have been able to resolve with NIE. But so we talk now. There are people who genuinely have gone through the processes of getting their own Ghana card, but to date, you and I know that some are still not been able to get their Ghana card. There are some who have also legally and rightfully applied to get their own SIMs to work with. Until date, they've not been given. So there are prevailing challenges that is making the situation very genuine for people not being able to link their Ghana card till date now. No agent would have allowed that to happen. But until these
Edmondson, you had every opportunity. You had every opportunity to speak to the telecommunications chamber on this concerns, especially during your engagement meetings. What happened?
Well, even let me say that even somewhere last 2 weeks we had a meeting with one of the EMIs. That's the giants in it. We had a meeting with them, and we spoke of some possible issues like this, and even with the chamber, somewhere last month or so, or latter part of last year, we held a meeting with the chamber. Okay, and we told them that there are issues that needs to be resolved, and until these issues are looked at, given a timeline for SIMs to be blocked like today, it's not fair. Okay, you have a lot of agents who are for corporate to this. Not to say that they are adamant to link their Ghana cards to their agents, but the pre-requirements that makes them eligible to be able to do so is not there.
And what were the response?
We are appealing. It's an appeal we are doing. We are making an appeal to them that I think from today, we started collating the data as to those who are affected, and we'll make it known. We'll issue a presser that will make it known, and I believe the whole Ghana will know. Because, in fact, in as much as we support the idea of linking the Ghana card, we think blocking people's SIM here and there is not the way to go. Because what it means is that it's taking people out of business. And we shouldn't forget that whatever business we do, government, we are subjected to a withholding tax, which government gets revenue from it. And for people to run out of business, government will not only lose the revenue generation, but businesses will be closed down. What happens to the unemployment situation? So yes, we agree to what we want to achieve, but what we are saying is that, look, let us give ourselves some ample time, because at the end of the day, what we intend to achieve is to be able to, one, protect the jobs, sanitize the jobs, and help government generate revenue through e-levy. But if our actions will not help that much, then I think it's something that we should look at it again. So we are appealing to the authorities, NIA, we are appealing to the EMIs, we are appealing to GRA, we are appealing to government to, as a matter of concern, reconsider its decision on the blocking of the SIMs.
All right. Edmondson, thankfully, we have your concerns have been made. We have Ken Ashigbe, the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Telecommunications on Zoom to help us speak to some of these issues you are raising. Thanks so much, Mr. Ashigbe, for your time here on the marketplace, I should say. Now, following concerns of these agents, it appears the blocking has started, obviously, right?
Well, the blocking has started, as has been said, and this conversation about linking of SIM cards started in January 2022. So this is not something that started today. And, you know, when we got to the point where you and I, our SIMs were blocked, the reasons why the agent SIMs were not blocked was that there were quite a sizable number in there that had not done the linking. And we know the challenges at the time. So the Ministry of Communication, working with the NTA, decided that we waive the time off and allow the agents to register. You would agree with me that since that happened, you know, months have come, and now the process of being able to link is not as difficult as it was then. And so towards the end of last year was when, engaging with the GRA, the conversation about an agent and being able to benefit from the exemption comes in. The point is that before, as an agent, you can benefit from that exemption, it means you need to have been registered with the GRA as a tax-paying person. The way to be able to do that as a sole proprietorship is once you do your Ghana card linking, your Ghana card can become your TIN number. If it's a limited liability company, then you need to provide your TIN number. And so reminders were sent to all the agents to say they should do the linking. You know, and then we had January to be able to close that. Now, January has come, and, you know, we send that statement just to remind people that this thing that we spoke about, the time has come. Fortunately for us, today, agent SIMs have been blocked. But if you go to the EMIs and you go and get your SIM, go and do your linking with your Ghana card, your SIM will be reactivated. And I'm sure if there are any of the agents who have any peculiar problems and they go to the EMIs, their SIMs will be activated. And, you know, if you look at the numbers that we had and the numbers that have done the linking, it's not a huge number as well, but it's still important for even one agent not to be linked. It's somebody not getting access to mobile money services. So I would urge my colleagues that if you've been blocked, just take the steps. Even if you claim it is because you don't have a Ghana card, you know, once you engage with your EMIs, that problem can be resolved.
And I'm pretty sure you've heard their concerns, but what's the Chamber's view on the appeal being made? I've
not heard you. See, I didn't hear him speak.
Okay.
I was not hearing him speak.
Great. So I can articulate that for you. But basically, they are making an appeal to you that there was some sort of miscommunication on the part of the Chamber, for that matter, for them not getting it right in terms of how to synchronize the Ghana card and, of course, the accounts.
What was the miscommunication?
Well, they said...
The communication about linking SIM cards did not start with the Chamber. The communication about linking SIM cards started in January 2022, when the policy statement was made by the ministry. So the statement that the Chamber issued on a few days ago was basically reminding all of us that the 31st data we are talking about had come. And, you know, so if anybody, and again, so that's why I say that if it is that people did not get the communication right, as we speak, you know, if you go to any of the EMIs with your Ghana card, you would be able to get your SIMs connected, and then your account would be put back again. We should bear in mind that the alternative for that is to say that all agents who do not have their SIM cards connected and their TINs connected, it would mean that the exemption that you get from the law will not be applicable. And that's not something you want to do. And then it brings about all the complexity. We should also bear in mind, this linkages and all of that deals with some of the challenges with fraud and all the things that we are calling on. So there's a policy intent And so for me, that's why I say that the EMIs will make all the effort to make sure that anybody who has been blocked and provides the Ghana card and all of that, it will be speedily dealt with.
All right, Mr. Ashigbe, in a minute, we barely have time. In a minute, would there be any remedial measures, basically, for them as...
Would there be any what?
I'm asking whether there will be any remedial measures for them if they want to... Basically, asking for an extension to use that period.
No, you see, the point I'm saying is that the fact that your SIM has been blocked does not mean it's permanently blocked.
Rather unfortunate.
So if you go back and you ask for your SIM to be reactivated, it will be reactivated.
All right. Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Ken Ashigbe, for your time. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Telecommunications, speaking to us there. And as I promised, we shall be following up on that developing story and keep you updated in our subsequent bulletins. But let's touch on this other story. With a capacity of 200,000 barrels per day, which is more than enough to meet the domestic demand of 80,000 barrels per day, the government has commissioned the Central Oil Refinery, the largest and most modern refinery in West Africa. The refinery, which is a joint venture between the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, and the Central Group, a Chinese conglomerate, is expected to create over 10,000 direct and indirect jobs and generate $1.2 billion in an annual revenue for government. But we ask, will this be the game changer for Ghana's economy and, of course, the energy security? And what's going to be the impact on the cost of petroleum going forward? Let's explore this angle as we've been joined via Zoom by the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Dr. Patrick Kwekuofori, and of course, the Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amwa, on these developing stories. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for joining me. First off, I would like to start with you, Dr. Kwekuofori. Now, the setting up of Central Refinery and the takeoff of Dangote should basically come as a good news, isn't it? Kindly unmute for me, sir.
Yes, sorry. Good afternoon to your listeners. I think it's a welcome news and it's a good news for any industry player and then anybody who also is interested in promoting the Ghanaian content, although you may think that it's a foreign owned, in as much as it's giving jobs to the local people and then the opportunity that brings to all of us within the downstream sector. And our overall energy security is something that we cannot sweep under the carpet. So I think it's a welcome news too.
And Dr. Ofori, I'm interested. Will your members consider buying products from the local market now that Central is in, or import from Nigeria and other markets?
We are already buying from them, and I think most of our members have also been dealing with them whilst they were even putting up the plant. And I think we need to commend the regulatory institutions and their chairman also for the existing working relationship that we're seeking to build. But there are a lot of things that we can still do together to ensure that there's a smooth running of the refinery. And then also the overall Ghanaian populace can also have access to cheaper fuels, which maybe we'll delve into later on.
I'm curious, what will be the impact on the prices of petroleum products going forward if your members decide to source locally?
From when I received the call for this interview, the few background checks that we are already aware of from some of our members, if for nothing at all, already most of our members are buying in cedis from them, which somehow reduces their risk with regards to the forest issues that have bedeviled the sector for some time. So that gives us some form of comfort with regards to that. The issue of demurrages that normally has also been a thorn in the flesh of the importers, I think this is also something that is coming down. With other benefits that we seek to gain with regards to insurance, and then other fleet charges that normally goes into the supplier's premium. These are costs that you can easily get rid of when you are dealing with that. And even if it's being passed on with regards to the crude, because there are multiple products coming from the crude, it is spread thin that any particular buyer will not necessarily feel the impact of that. And basically, as is explained, with the concept of economies of scale. So these are other opportunities that it brings. With regard to storage and then other local handling of the product locally too, we stand to have somehow a minimal cost within the enclave where most of the depots and most of facilities are also housed. So I think these are some of the few things that we can easily talk of in terms of the benefit that it can really impact.
All right. Let's shift focus now. And it's been 1 month after the NPA started enforcing the new requirements for products. How are your members coping with that?
I think the last time I told you, we've always been law-abiding, and the rules have not changed. Once you bring in product, until the NPA and the Ghana Standard Authority certify that those products are good for the Ghana market, it will not come in. Their concerns were that certain products came in, and that is how they needed to have checked. And that one is not within the mandate of the members, because somebody ought to have checked the quality that is coming in. And I don't think those products, if they even track it, they could really link it to. There may be other chemical compositions which we're seeking to build further collaboration with GSA and then the regulator to ensure that we enhance internally our research team to track products, so that in terms of even handling the products in the course of the transition from either some storage facilities or even some of the cars, people putting other chemicals in the cars or something of that, to really trace exactly where such issues were coming from. And I think the MPA did a good job when they went back to the terminals to start checking the fuels that were there. I think it gave them an oversight as to how they can handle the problem. And I think that was they decided to change the new and come up with those new quality specifications, which I think we welcome that, since it's within their mandate, and we've been supportive like we've always been, and also complying with that measures since its inception.
Very well. Thank you very much, Dr. Patrick Kwikufori, for your time. He's the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distribution, speaking to us there. Thank you so much, sir. But Duncan is still on with me, though. Duncan, thanks so much for your company. I read your article about the presence of Central Oil Refinery. To cut the story short, you describe it as the final nail in the coffin of Tor. Why? Unmute for me, Duncan.
Thank you very much. Of course, Central, like any other refinery, of course, with the private sector, will be interested in the cost benefits of their investment by way of whatever profits that would accrue to them. And so when I listen to Dr. Ofori and the suggestion that we are likely to have Central mitigate high fuel prices, I will be a bit skeptical, because already there's a lot of products coming out of Central morning, afternoon, and even in the night, as late as 11, people are still loading off Central. Not everything that has been loaded from there so far has been products that they've had to refine. So I am not quite too optimistic, especially with the fact that the local refinery, which is the Oil Refinery, which should have been, a bit of a competition to Central, a bit of a driver to fuel pricing, in the country generally, as we speak, is off. And it doesn't look as though on the ground there are any plans. In recent times, if you recall, the worker unions across board have been agitating for one thing, to get Tor back to running. It is so because the refinery in Tor has lost its workforce, the very technical brains. A lot of them have had to now sojourn to Iran, Iraq, places that ordinarily Ghanaians would not go, because their job securities here cannot be assured. Then again, I also do a bit of digging to find out is Central really recruiting local talent? I can put on.
Mute for me. So make that point for me once again.
Yes, I'm still here. Yes. So is Central really coming to step up to be able to employ the Ghanaian technical hand? What I can put on record this afternoon is that go to the control room of Central and it's full of the Chinese, technicians. And so in one breath, Central could also help the market, but in another, job security for the technical people, the operations people at all, you cannot guarantee that as far as the private refinery is concerned. They would, of course, do whatever will benefit their numbers. And for me, the earlier we think of getting Toll back to work, the better it will be. Otherwise, if the market becomes a monopolistic market that only deals with a foreign, owned refinery whose interest largely would have to be profit, I'm not quite certain that the petroleum security you are looking for, you won't get it. And then again, the fear of that vertical integration bit. Not long ago, you recall the transporters were up in arms against Central for...
Duncan, if you could make that point for me in a minute, I would appreciate it in a minute because we barely have time. So you can make it.
I was saying, not long ago, the transporters were up in arms. The vertical integration fear that once Central becomes the only player as far as the refining space is concerned, you may have Central now decide to even go into the transport business, and then when it suits them, they may also decide to even buy the local fuel station, so that once they are done refining, they don't need to sell to anybody. They can get, companies across the value chain and ship products to the filling stations for you and I to buy. That will be a dangerous thing if we don't take care.
Very well. Thank you very much, Duncan Amwai, Secretary of COPEC, speaking to us there. Ending the marketplace. I am Pious Kojo Backah. See you same time tomorrow. Bye.